he was going to find a way. His team was going to block for him. They were going to find a way. When you see him run that end around, they're grabbing at him, right? But he's focused on what? The goal line, right? His goal. Nothing's going to stop him from that goal, right? So we have to understand that we need to be motivated to have that kind of effort. But sometimes, do you ever get brain freeze? It's like, if you have a popsicle, something really cold, does that. But sometimes, like math, some people like get brain freeze doing math, or maybe some subject, right? Oh man, that's blowing my mind, right? So I'm going to give you an opportunity to solve a puzzle here, and we're going to see how we do. So if you would take one here and pass that down, and if you, two of you, I got a couple extras if you want to play with that. There might be some extras coming around there. Okay, now, this is what we're going to ask you to do. And that is leadership. Look at that. He's going the nth mile there. That's okay. They've done it before. They've solved a few of these before. Okay, so. All right, so here's one for you. Thank you for giving everyone else. All right, you're going to draw 3 solid lines. One is going to connect the lines A to A. One is going to connect the lines B to B. And the third one is going to connect the lines C to C. But here's the kicker. These solid lines cannot cross. They can't go outside the big box and around. Right? It's got to stay in the blue area in the middle. And it can't go through a box to get to another box. Okay? So you got to go A to A, B to B, and C to C, connecting those boxes with 3 solid lines without them crossing. On your mark, get set, go. See if you can do it. Little Jeopardy music, take this one. A to A, B to B, C to C. Okay, but the A's got to go to the A. The B's got to go to the B. Okay, good try. Try again. A to A, B to B, C to C. Who's got it? Raise your hand if you think you got it. A to A, B to B, C to C. Who's got it?
Yeah, they can't cross one another.
Okay.
Nobody got it.
Now, for some of us, we tend to try to do this in our heads. And if you try to do it mentally, it feels impossible, right? And if you think it's impossible, what happens to your motivation level? It drops, right? So I've had like some students say, Mr. Kane, yeah, you give us an impossible puzzle, that's really mean, right? I wouldn't do that to you, right? This puzzle is possible, right? So now boost your motivation level, it can be done, but listen to the instructions. Connect A to A, B to B, and then C to C, all right? But there's one assumption that you have to make in doing that.
Because there's 2 A's.
Yeah, so connect the A boxes together, but how you do it makes a big difference. Solid line, try connecting A to A. Did you hear that question? Does it have to be a straight line? The answer is no. That is the winning assumption. It can be a curved line. Now I like this. A to A here, B to B. Now just redraw your C to C line. Start like here. Now, don't go across these 2 curved lines, right? Now go, where would you go? Now go on the inside. But you can't cross it, so what do? Like it's redirected, follow it around. There you go, keep going, there you go, draw that in, that's it. All right, we've got a solution. All right. I think everyone's starting to pick up, yep, you're on the right track here. All right, so sometimes things in life look complicated, they look impossible. Mr. J. Fechtel, they build these beautiful homes. And if you looked at it from the beginning, like they have everything perfect, but it seems overwhelming, right? But they do it step by step, right? So what did I ask you to do? If you learn to be obedient, right? That's why we have the 10 Commandments. We do what God tells us to do. Do A to A, right? Curved line, though, that was the key, right? Not a straight line. And then what's the other easy one to do? B to B. Now, you see the path for C to C. So they're now in between. We get her done. Isn't in your stage in life, it may be hard for you to see your whole life.
See the alley?
Right? Do you see why God, have you ever prayed and say, God, just tell me what my whole life is going to look like? And then in His wisdom, He doesn't do that because it would be overwhelming, right? But what He does is He leads us step by step, right? And if you do the A to A and the B to B, now you're closer to see the rest of the journey, right? But you got to be obedient. So I want you to write on your puzzle the words, learn by doing. Life is a learn by doing process. The Bible is a learning process from the Old Testament and New. It's a history of God's chosen people learning from kind of a childish view of God all the way to a more developed view of God, learning about who God is as a Trinitarian God, Father, Son, and Holy Spirit, right?
Amen.
So it's a journey, learning by doing. This is key. To have a can-do attitude, it's much easier to say, I can do it because I can do something, right? But what happens if you get stuck and do nothing? What happens to your life? Nothing happens. And then you blame other people and you find all the excuses, right? Instead, you say, I can do it, right? I'll do something. I'll do it as long as I'm heading in the right direction. Following Becky, right? Got my compass, right? I'm heading in the right direction. I'm going to find my way, right? All of you have a great future, but you got to find your way step by step. Are you with me on that?
Yeah.
Okay, guys, great. So here's a Bible verse that reinforces this. Philippians 4:13, one of my favorites. Who knows Philippians 4:13? Richard, you got it? Can you read that for us, please?
I can do all things through Christ who gives me benefits.
Wow, that is powerful, right? Now, how many things can you do? Some?
Oh.
Most?
Oh.
All things. I can do all things through Christ who gives me what? Strength. So where does the strength come from? It comes from Christ, right? Christ gives it to me, the Holy Spirit inside me, right? Now, I have a slight version of that. It's I can do all things through Christ who gives me strength. That translates to my family, right? Because we were the Canes, and Cain do it, right? So if you want to be part of the Texan Canes, you take God's truth and you say, I can do it, right? I can do it. God has given me the power and resource. I just got to tap in and get connected to Jesus, right?
Yeah.
Isn't that amazing? So you don't have to go it alone. You don't have to figure it out yourself. You've got God with you. But you've got to ask Him. So if you're reactive, are you going to be talking to God about what you should be doing? No, you're just going to do what you feel like doing, right? But if you're proactive, you slow yourself down, you can listen, right? To the Holy Spirit, to wise counsel, people around you, right? That have fully developed frontal lobes, right? And some spiritual maturity. They can help you on this path to find your way. That sound good? It's amazing. If you look at this, it's not rocket science. Now, it's still hard work. Mr. Earl and Christy will tell you that it's hard work, right? Life isn't easy, but it's wonderful. It's a blessing. And if you know that you're following with Christ, it makes it a lot more doable, right? So, we can do all things through Christ who gives us strength. So we can also learn. Did you know that the way your brain is wired, there's 3 steps to learning? Do you know what they are? You got to receive it. You got to receive information. Like today, I'm sharing information with you. What do you have to do? Store it in your brain, right? And then you what? Then you use it. Because if you don't use it, right? If you don't use something, you'll lose it, right? So it's like catching a football. So I need someone to be my wide receiver. Okay. Belver, can you stand up for me here? All right, we'll do a Tim Tebow simulation, right? It's the end of the game. The game's on the line, right? We're going to beat the Jets, but not your Jets, right? Oh, that was the game, right? Maybe it's the Jets. All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to throw it at him. Now, notice what he did. What did he do right away?
Put his hands up.
He prepared to receive it, right? He was ready. If he's not ready and I throw it at him, what's going to happen? If he gets distracted, it's going to bounce off and we look kind of stupid, right? Okay? He's not going to get the information he needs. So he's got to concentrate. Now, when he catches it out here, could someone knock it out of his hands? So what do? You tuck it in. You store it, right? So that it's yours. No one's going to get it from you. And then you what? You run for the touchdown, right? Okay, so you're going to do those 3 steps. Touchdowns in that direction, okay? Are you ready? Here we go. Cheer him on, guys. Come on. Here we go. What it is? 3 steps. See, now you're not going to forget what it is, right? I thought learning was kind of a mystery. Some got it and some didn't. And when I got my master's in adult education, right, I learned how the brain works. I'm giving you guys a master's degree in adult education here, okay? All right, Richard, you ready to catch this one? All right. He knows the 3 steps. He's going to receive it, he's going to store it, and he's going to run for it. Here we go. Ready? Sherman! Woo! Lopez, he got it. All right, way to go. Now you notice the pass was low, but because he was prepared, what? He went down to get it, right? Just like a great wide receiver would do. That was awesome, right? So 3 steps to learning. Now in our program, we get into a deeper understanding of how that process works. But basically, what you're doing right now is you're paying attention. That's receiving it, right? The second step, to store it, there's 2 methods to store it. One of them is to take notes, right? What are you guys doing right now?
Taking notes.
You're taking notes. We're helping you practice how to be a great learner. So you can learn anything you want. You can be a rocket scientist, you can be a brain surgeon, whatever you want to be, but you got to know how to learn, right? And Mr. Earl Christie said, if you don't learn, what happens?
You don't live.
You're dead, right? Living is learning, right? So it's a lifelong process. So Mr. Christie has got it right. The third step, though, is once you write this down here today, if you just walk out with it, what's going to happen? It won't stick with you if you don't teach it to someone else. That's why we have you taking notes, so you can then share it with someone else or even review it yourself. The research shows if you share it within 24 hours, you move it from what's called short-term memory to long-term memory. Long-term memory is what stays with you. Short-term memory is what gets wiped out when you sleep at night. You ever notice something like you happened during the day and the next day, man, I can't remember what that was. So you left it in short-term memory. You didn't reinforce it, right? You lost it, okay? But if you teach it to somebody, then you're going to own it. Now, there's a second method to get it into long-term storage. What's 5 times 5? How'd you know that? It was drilled in. Remember in elementary school, you did those math tables? 1 times 5 is 5, 2 times 5. It was boring, right?
Yeah.
But when you drill something in, it sticks with you, right? So either teach it or drill it, right? Now, doctors, why do doctors have to memorize the anatomy of the body? It's a lot of work. Right, because if they're in the emergency room and a patient's dying, he can't go, I don't know what I'm looking at. Someone, could you give me a book? I gotta, they gotta know. They gotta know what to do, right? So you, again, what you need to know, you memorize, you drill it in, right? And that's why our basketball coach is gonna tell us in a few minutes why fundamentals. He knows how well his team's gonna do by how well they practice the fundamentals, right? They drill it in, okay? So you all now can learn anything you need to learn by applying these 3 steps. That make sense? You got it? What's it now? Wait, you need something? Oh, okay. Do we have some more? A Mountain Dew?
Yeah, that door's locked, where's the lock?
No, I think it's just Jim.
Oh,
Either that or Becky has a key. Can we unlock this?
I think it's Jim.
Maybe from the outside. Don't close that one. It's gonna lock on you.
It
Just
should be
leave it a little crack.
No, that was wrong.
Oh, I went over before.
I know, but it's locked now, so you just have to. Okay, you unlock. Okay, great. All right. So everyone knows how to learn, right? So now you can do anything, right? You got the tools. Now you have to have the motivation. You have to push yourself, right? Very good. So now we know. So just let me tell you a little story here about the Kane family. This is the Texan Canes. My dad was the last of the Texan Canes. So what happens in a family when you're the last? If he doesn't have any kids, what happens to Texan Canes? They're gone, right? That would be a tragedy. Well, my dad had 7 kids, mom and dad, right? We all had kids, so there's plenty of Texan Canes. Whoosh, solved that problem, right? But what was his new problem?
He didn't.
Anyone else want something more to drink?
Tell me about blues.
Mountain Dew, water?
Every other one.
What? Can you wheel it in? Just water. Just grab the wheel it in.
Can I?
Oh, you can't. Okay.
And it's over. I need water.
I can-
Water? Okay.
How many waters, how many uses?
Probably just wheel it in and we'll have it for the rest of the day. Okay. So the key is that in our family we had plenty of Texan Canes, but now we had to pay for all these kids, right? 7 kids. That's college is real expensive. So my parents told us at a young age, you got to get good grades, you got to do extra activities, you got to get scholarships. You gotta save some money, you've gotta pay your way to college. We'll get you all prepared, but you gotta make it, right?
Yeah.
So I remember how ingrained we were with that, how important that was. In fact, when my kid sister Laura was 3 years old, she had one of these big lollipops. We had one of these big lollipops here. Now, to a 3-year-old, that's like gold, right?
Yeah.
Richard wants one of those. Walter, just throw it over to him. Okay.
I got marathon friends, it's okay.
You sure you're gonna catch it?
He's lying, it's okay.
Alright.
Okay. He's a good catcher, all right.
Water?
Now, with this lollipop, she's walking to the refrigerator and she's putting it into the freezer. And I go, Laura, what are you doing? And her little 3-year-old voice, she says, I'm saving my lollipop for college. That's how ingrained we were, right? And for every dollar, we had 10 cents we had to put in our college savings bank. Was that popular with us kids? No, not really, right? But it helped us prepare. So out of the 7 of us kids, how many do you think actually went to college? What would be your guess?
7. All 7.
All 7, right? Now, you had to pay your way through college. One thing to get there. How many of the 7 made it and actually graduated with a bachelor's degree?
You?
All 7. How many went to get a master's degree?
All 7.
How many graduated with a master's degree?
All 7.
All 7. And my kid brother Steve, he's the genius. He's the doctor in the family. He got a doctorate in computer graphics imaging. You know the Hubble Space Telescope takes pictures of the universe, right? Well, there was a defect in the lens they didn't discover until they launched out in space, and it was too late. So they asked my brother to write computer algorithms to compensate for that defect, and now you get these crisp, beautiful pictures of the universe because of my brother Steve. All right? So, yeah,
Your brother Steve?
my brother Steve.
Not Steve?
No.
Oh, no.
That's another Steve. You're good. They were very observant, right? And of course, my kid brother Steve, I taught him everything he knew, so that's. Anyways, all right. So, you get the idea, though, that having a can-do attitude is so important to your success, right? And you instill that. That's what you pass on. So if you learn it, you pass it on to all the people that you're leading. And maybe your family, your kids, right? It's contagious. But the opposite is contagious, too. If you have a can't-do attitude, is that contagious?
Yes.
Yeah, if you're giving up, then others go, well, why should I bother? He's not trying either, right? And that will ruin a team. The team leaders are the ones like Tim Tebow, right? They're on the field leaders because they've got the can-do attitude, all right? So you need to have that if you want to be successful and lead others. Now, venture 3, TD. Let me tell you a story. There was a lady who learned how to play the piano at the age of 4 in her dad's music shop in Buffalo, New York. She was so good that by the age of 13, she was training adults. She went on to study at Eastman Conservatory for be a concert pianist. And this is how good she is. My fingers don't move that fast, right? Now, where's the music coming from?
Right.
She's memorized it. And this goes on and on and on, right? Who is this great pianist? Who is that? That's my wife, Miss Debbie. Give her a hand. So that's our piano studio, and Debbie loves to teach people of all ages, from seniors to little kids, right? She just loves to learn, right? When you learn something, you pass it on, you share it with other people, right? That's what makes us heroic. So we want you to dream big with your talents.
That's a what?
That's my wife, Debbie, yeah. But you've got to put the effort in, right? You've got to develop your talent muscles. So, we all had you do the Myers-Briggs survey to learn a little bit more about yourself. So each of you is one of these profiles as your natural talent. When you're tired, low energy, it's your automatic pilot. So what I want you to do is take your profile that I gave you and look at the 4 letters at the top and circle on your blocks which one is that. So you're an INFP. So you are a natural healer. So circle healer. Circle on your chart, on your grid, in your book, which of yours? You're a chief. Circle chief, yeah. You're a counselor, right? Circle counselor. You got yours? You are a ISTP. Right? You're a craftsman. You like doing art stuff and right? And you are an ENFP, you're a champion, right? Circle that, right? And you are an ENFP. You're a healer. That's great. So all of us have these natural talents and abilities, right? So what we're going to do is we're going to have you come stand proud for your time. We're going to take a kind of group picture here. All right? So we'll come on out here, stand in your grid. Someone take a picture.
Where are you gonna face?
Can you stand on this chair right here so you can get a small group? All right. Now some of us are very similar and some of us are different, right? All right, so you see how we've got some people over here. We got lots of these are the green are idealists. You guys think big, you know, right? Naturally, right? We got a chief over here. He's a natural leader, right? We have an inspector. He's a coach. He watches the detail of his kids' fundamentals. And we have a craftsman, an artist. So let's turn now this direction, all right? And when I say 1, 2, 3, I want you to throw your hands up and say touchdown, right? Because we discover our talents, right? Talents discovered. We score a touchdown when we discover our talents.
Anybody else come
Come on, buddy.
Anyone else come out and stand where you think you are? Or just join the picture? That makes sense.
That's true.
Total sense. Okay.
Yes, sir.
All right, so can we squeeze in? You want to just join us in the picture? Group picture? All right, so get our chief in there.
I'm in here.
You're in? Okay, there you go.
Oh, we can see.
Yeah. And make sure you're not hiding behind anybody here. Okay.
Which one are you?
Okay, look, if you can see Miss Debbie, she can see you.
Can't see everybody.
Come in a little bit. Okay? Okay. So when I say 1, 2, 3, let's do a practice. Make sure you're not blocking anyone's face or anything. 1, 2, 3, touchdown! Okay? Was that looking good? All right, good. Let's take it.
I didn't get you in there.
Okay, let's get in here, okay? And make sure now you smile and hold it nice and still. 1, 2, 3, touchdown! Take one more.
It's okay to just flash.
Okay, 1, 2, 3, touchdown!